Hi, I'm Allysia and welcome to today's video. I wanted to do a little bit of review of the first month of having a baby, kind of like the first month postpartum, because this is the kind of video, sort of like the last couple that I've made, that I watched a ton of when I was pregnant because I had no idea what to expect. I had no idea what the transition into being a mother was going to be like. I didn't know how my life was going to change, but I really wanted to try to understand it as best as I could before living it. And obviously you can't really understand it until you live it, but I just wanted to make a video about my experiences in the hopes that it'll help someone out, like those videos helped me out when I was in my third trimester. So I wanted to start by talking about my physical recovery, which actually has been pretty easy and good. I had a standard delivery. I didn't have a C-section or anything like that, so I didn't have anything major to recover from. And I only had a couple of really minor tears, and those healed probably within a couple weeks. And it basically, like within a month, I was back to doing my regular yoga routine. Like I could do just like my standard amount of exercise from before I was pregnant, and I could, you know, go for walks and be totally fine within a few weeks. I would say that I was really only like sore and taking medicine for the first week or so. And after that, I was just fatigued. But after that, like my body recovered pretty well. So that was totally fine. Possibly the most challenging thing in the first month of having a baby for me was adjusting to really weird sleep cycles and not getting enough sleep. So the very first day she was born, people kept telling us to sleep. You know, they say sleep when the baby sleeps and stuff, but I was just like way too wired that first day. I was so excited and just like full of adrenaline. So basically like the first 24 hours was like I got a couple hours of sleep if I was lucky, just because I was way too hyped up and way too, you know, immersed in baby. Because of that, the second day was super rough. I hit a massive wall, and the second day was basically, people talk about this, but the second day for me was when all of a sudden I felt like I was just completely ill-equipped to take home a baby. I just like, why were they letting me take home a baby from the hospital? Like, who was I to be able to do this? And one thing that really like made me feel insecure is she had a little bit of a like breathing incident on the second day. Like she got, I don't know if it was like phlegm or mucus or something, but she started choking. And luckily there was a nurse there who kind of like opened up her airways and stuff again. Apparently that's pretty common for really fast deliveries and for cesarean deliveries, because they don't, if the baby spends a while in the birth canal, it squeezes out some of that mucus, but since she just kind of shot right out, she didn't get that mucus out. So that was really scary. It just made me think, like, what if this had happened and I was at home? I would have no idea what to do. So I just felt like I had no idea how to take care of a baby, and I felt really bad about myself, and I was exhausted. So day 2 was definitely the hardest. And it probably took a couple weeks until things started getting a little bit easier. There were a lot of swings, and again, this is mainly just caused by sleep deprivation. She wasn't sleeping in the night very well. She wanted to be permanently attached to your body, and if you put her down in the crib, she would just like immediately start freaking out. So the nights were really difficult for the first couple weeks. But after that, we started learning things. We started, you know, being able to do everything a little better. We started, you know, learning how to do diapers and change her clothes effectively, and we found ways to soothe her, and we got into a rhythm with breastfeeding and all that. So after a couple weeks, things slowly started getting better with everything, including sleep. And now we're about 5 weeks out, yeah, close to 5 weeks, and she's finally starting to settle into a little bit of a sleep routine where she's going to bed around the same time, she's waking up in the middle of the night around the same time, and she's having slightly longer stretches of sleep. So my sleep isn't just in like 1 hour pockets. I'm starting to get some 2 and 3 hour stretches of sleep as well. So that's been really good. But just those first couple weeks were super rough. So if you get past that, it's golden. So breastfeeding in the first month, I would say, has overall been going really good, but that's not to say that it was completely like smooth sailing the whole time. I was really dead set on breastfeeding before I'd had a baby. I had prepared by, we hired a doula who was also a lactation consultant, and I'd read lots about breastfeeding and stuff like that. So I was trying to prepare myself as much as I could to do it successfully, and to, you know, surround myself with people who could help, with, you know, friends who have breastfed successfully and stuff like that. So I was really wanting to do it, and I have been doing it, and it has been going well. But that being said, the first week or so was very challenging because she didn't latch very well in the first couple days. And as soon as you have a bad latch, you have a big problem, because that's when you're gonna get blisters and cracks on your nipples, which is as painful as it sounds. And once those blisters and cracks are there, you kind of just have to like grin and bear it, grit your teeth, fight through it, because they do heal if you fix the latch, and you can keep breastfeeding even with the cracks, and they will still heal. One thing that I found to be like an absolute lifesaver was this, oh, I actually have it, was this Earth Mama Angel Baby nipple butter. And this was recommended to me by a friend, and it is the absolute best. So basically, once my, like in the first couple days, once my nipples were really cracked and very, very painful, I would just like slather that all over myself after every single feeding, because they heal better with moisture. And apparently this is better than lanolin based on like a tiny bit of research I did. Plus I'm kind of weird about, you know, rubbing, what is lanolin, like sheep goo? So I wanted something plant-based, which this nipple butter is. So if you're dealing with that, definitely, I bought this before having a baby, so I had it like in my hospital bag ready to go, and I'm so glad that I did, because I was using it within hours of giving birth. This saved my life. Probably took, I would say, a good week or two until I really healed. And how I healed myself was by playing around with different breastfeeding positions. So what I had been doing in the hospital when things were going badly is I had been doing the cradle hold with her, which is kind of like when you just hold the baby sideways against your body. And she was just having a really shallow latch, like she wasn't opening her mouth wide enough. So I started doing the laid back position, which is basically like you just recline, like maybe a 45-degree angle, and then you plop baby up. So, okay, my arm's gonna be baby. So your baby goes, what is this, vertical? They go vertical on your body like this. And that just worked like magic. And probably within a week or two, I was completely healed and breastfeeding wasn't painful anymore. It still can be like, it was a little painful for the first couple weeks initially, like that first, 10 seconds of latching would often be like really painful, but then it would become normal. But now after a month, like it feels like pressure. It doesn't even hurt at all. So just if I have any advice, try not to get cracks in the first place. But most people who I talk to, most of my friends who've had babies recently, have had this happen to them. So it's just, if that happens to you, just be prepared, get the nipple butter, have that ready, and be willing to just grit your teeth through the pain. One of the best things about breastfeeding that I found so far, aside from the fact that, bonding and all that stuff, is that it's like a baby tranquilizer. So if she's flipping out, or if she's overtired and I need to kind of like calm her down, then all I have to do is breastfeed and she'll chill out. Basically, like any situation where I want her to sleep or calm down or anything like that, I can kind of solve most baby related problems just by breastfeeding, which is really awesome. And you don't have to, I've been told you don't have to be a pacifier for your baby, but I actually quite enjoy it because it's a really easy way to get her to stop crying and to make her happy. So why not? Speaking of pacifiers, we did introduce one. The non-orthodontic ones, they're just kind of like round. They're just like the standard ones. We did introduce it around the 4-week mark because we didn't want to introduce it too early and sabotage my nursing efforts. Because I wanted to nurse as much as possible in the early days in order to establish a really good milk supply. I didn't want to like, well, I've nursed 12 times today, so I'm not going to do it anymore today. I didn't regiment it at all. I just kind of did it whenever it seemed like she wanted to feed. And it worked out really well. My milk supply has been awesome, I think. Like, she's gaining weight well and pooping and peeing lots, so I think that's working well. But we introduced the pacifier, and she really likes it, and it means that Michael can chill her out a little bit easier on his own if I'm not around. So it's a really good tool for him to use. It's not something that I have used. I don't think I've actually ever given it to her because, again, I have the boob, so why would I give her the pacifier? But it is like a really handy thing, and she seems to like it. And yeah, her weight gain and everything has been really good. She was actually, I think she was back to her birth weight within a week. And they say that they should be back at their birth weight within 2 weeks, I think. So she gained back really fast. And yeah, it's been going really well. The one thing that's, well, not the one thing, but one thing that's annoying is leaking. So I bought some washable, since we're doing cloth diapers and doing lots of laundry anyway, I bought washable breast pads to deal with the leaking situation. And I only bought 3 pairs and that's been enough for me, but I'm doing laundry every day or two, so it works that way. But that's something I would really recommend. Even a month in, I'm still leaking and I see no end in sight for that, unfortunately. So that's a good thing to invest in. So speaking of cloth diapering, that is something that Michael and I spent a lot of time researching, and we put quite a lot of money into buying some really nice cloth diapers. Actually, I thought I'd have some beside me, but I don't. We have a 2-in-1 system. So basically we have diaper shells and then cloth inserts that just kind of snap in place. They're super, super easy to use. They were kind of expensive to buy, but we bought 9 shells and 18 inserts, and we do laundry every day or two with them. And yeah, they work really well. It's surprisingly easy to do. Like, I thought it would be way more of a pain to cloth diaper. It just seemed challenging and more involved. But yeah, it's really easy as long as you're willing to do the laundry, and that just adds an extra 5 minutes to the day. And it'll save a lot of money in the long run, I think. We did use disposable diapers for the first week because of the meconium poo, that like black poop that babies have in the first days. And we were still like, you know, adjusting to parenthood, so we just thought we'd keep it really simple. But after the first week, we started getting into cloth diapers and we are really enjoying it. And just for reference, the brand that we've been using are the Soft Bums diapers, the Echo shells and the regular inserts, and I really, really like them. So 1 month postpartum weight loss, when I first, well, I gained about 25 pounds in pregnancy. And when I first had like delivered her, I lost about 10 pounds within a couple days, just like instantly. But since then, I have not lost a single ounce, and I eat really well, and I watch, like, I'm not cutting calories or anything crazy like that because I wanted, you know, breastfeeding to go well. I didn't want to sabotage that. But yeah, I haven't lost like a single pound all month, which is kind of unfortunate, but maybe that's just like biology's way of, you know, saying like, nope, hang on to those fat stores so you can feed your baby well. So I think I might just have to come to terms with the fact that I might not lose weight and get back to my original weight anytime soon. And that's okay. It is what it is. My belly has been slowly shrinking too, but I still got a little bit of a pouch. I'm hoping that within another month, I should kind of be back to more or less my normal shape, plus an extra 10 or 15 pounds. So here are some survival tips or things that I found in the first month or so that have like really helped me stay sane and help things go smoothly, things that I've kind of discovered along the way. So the first thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is I always have like a big snack plate for when it's nighttime. Because when you're up at 3 in the morning and you're like half asleep and you're hungry, it's nice to have some snacks beside the bed. And I find that it serves a double purpose. So the snacks like obviously keep me from being ravenous and hungry, but they also keep me awake so that when I'm feeding her, I'm not like dozing off and drifting into slumber. So the snacks that I like to have beside the bed are fresh cut veggies, because they're just something that you can eat lots of and crunch. And I like popcorn for the same reason, because you can just kind of like, it keeps you awake. If I just had like, you know, like a power bar or something, I would eat it in 2 minutes and then it'd be done and then I'd be tired. But a bowl of popcorn takes a little bit of time to eat, so that just helps keep me awake. So I'll have, you know, veggies, I'll have popcorn, I'll have like a banana, stuff like that. One thing that I've also been doing in the middle of the night is watching just really easy Netflix shows. Stuff that doesn't require a whole lot of attention, that I don't need to have like full focus for, but that's like really entertaining and something that I can kind of look forward to if it's 3 in the morning. I don't try to do anything remotely useful in that time period between like midnight and, you know, 8 in the morning. One of the best things, honestly, survival wise, is if you can have help, get help. Try not to do the first month on your own. I'm lucky in that my husband was able to take time off of work for the first month to help out. And without that, I would have been like completely just a train wreck. So even if your partner can't stay with you, see if you can get like a family member or something. It just like makes a huge difference. So one thing that we've kind of found works really well is when the baby wakes up in the morning, Michael will take the baby and like hang out with her in the morning while I sleep. And then when she needs to feed, he'll bring her to me for feedings, but then like take her away right away after, so that I can get like an extra few hours of sleep to make up for the lost few hours of sleep in the middle of the night. And that's worked really well. I'm actually gonna be really sad when he goes back to work right away and I don't have that anymore. I also think it's really important to get out of the house every day. And it's kind of a bad time. Like we had our baby at the beginning of February and we live in Canada. So it's been cold and snowy and it's kind of hard to get out of the house with the baby, especially to go for walks and stuff when it's really, really cold out. But even just like me personally, to get out of the house, to get away from the baby for an hour or two, just has helped keep me positive. Seeing a little bit of sunlight, being exposed to some fresh air, and it also helps the baby to get out and about in the afternoon too. I find that when she sees the outdoors in some way, or we take her somewhere, like even the grocery store, then she sleeps better in the evening. It kind of like regulates her circadian rhythm. Also, I think this goes without saying, but like you really in that first month, like completely scrap the to-do list. It's all about survival. It's all about just like making sure you get enough sleep and make sure your baby's getting enough food, and that's pretty much all that you're gonna have time for. I've like slowly started integrating things back into my to-do list in like around week 3 or week 4, but it's been a slow process, and yeah, I don't expect to get anything done at least for a couple weeks. So that's about all that I can think to talk about for the first month. I know this is a really long video, so thank you for sticking with it. Hopefully, if you're about to be a new parent, hopefully you found something useful here, and you know, or hopefully you found it entertaining in some way. The first month was definitely a wild ride, but it went by really, really fast, and it's crazy that we're already in baby's second month. She's already starting to smile and be more alert and awake. So the time goes by really, really fast, but it is really challenging at first. So good luck to you if that's about to be your reality, and I will catch you in the next video.